Hello. As you will see from the picture I'm putting up here, I'm going to be talking about Trump and Sunak and showing you how similar the problems are that we have across the Atlantic. And I made a video. This is the second try, and that's because I made this video all about Labour's problems with this particular poster, and I didn't upload it because I was nagged by a persistent feeling that I'd missed something. And then it struck me. Labour are accusing the Conservatives of the very lapses of which they have been very spectacularly guilty. And that's just like how the Democrats are accusing Trump for corruption or cheating on the rules or whatever, when we all know there have been allegations of the same or worse from Biden and Obama cropping up all over the place. There's a creepy similarity between the Democrats and Labour, which I have to tell you, I noticed a few years ago. It was when I was reading a book called Game Changer by an author called Steve Howell. Howell was a journalist, but he was running Jeremy Corbyn's election campaign. Jeremy Corbyn, the Marxist runner for leadership of the Labour Party. Now, what does Jeremy Corbyn's campaign have to do with the USA? You may well ask, and I shall tell you. And this is granniopteryx interrupting herself to tell you that I am granniopteryx. I'm on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds, and also on Twitter, Gab and Parler. All the links to those platforms are in the description. You can help my channel by contributing financially, but the best way to do it is to like this video and to share it and to subscribe. And if you're watching this on YouTube, remember YouTube can be a bit careless about hanging on to subscriptions, so just check you're still subscribed. Right, back to the Dems and the Labour Party and their desire to be spectacular failures. What does Jeremy Corbyn's campaign have to do with the USA? You may well ask, and I shall tell you. It was a throwaway comment buried in the book by Steve Howell. He mentioned that he rang his daughter, telephoned his daughter, who was in the USA at the time. And what was she doing there while Howell was running Jeremy Corbyn's election campaign? Well, his daughter was working for Hillary Clinton. What do you think of that? It's obviously not only the same political ambitions in both political groups, but also the same desire now not to win the next election. Yeah, you heard me right. I don't think either of them wants to win, and they are going to extraordinary lengths to pretend they're working for a win while putting off anyone who might want to vote for them. And why should they wish this? Well, I don't know. But they are alienating their voters with the same consistency and actually with the same techniques, even though the two situations might look somewhat different. They actually aren't. And many of the more thoughtful Democrats are very disturbed by the Trump arrest and all that's going on with it, because they know it won't end with Trump. It's going to send USA politics into chaos every time there's an election, or rather in the aftermath of any election. Yeah? While over here, many Labour supporters can see that the sort of thing that's being thrown at Rishi Sunak can not only end up being turned against them, but also gives the Conservatives a chance to refute the well, insinuations by showing how they have made laws to deal with such crimes. I'll just go through. This is on social media. Do you think adults convicted? Now look, I'm going to beep that out because of YouTube. So I'm sorry about that, but I will have to remove that. Should go to prison, it asks. And then it says, Labour will lock up dangerous child abusers. Dangerous child abusers. I mean, this just shows the immaturity of whoever constructed this piece of advertising. In what way can a child abuser not be dangerous? You know, that's the sort of thing that students would write. Anyway, this is going to give the Conservatives a lot more publicity for their law and order programme, although the Conservatives haven't had exactly a stellar career up to now, but there's certainly nothing like this in their manifesto. Meanwhile, just because, I'll tell you a little bit about Starmer. I have very thoughtfully provided it here. Okay, got it. Now, Starmer became head or director of public prosecutions in 2008. And when he got into office, there was a 3-year-old case that was still rumbling on. It was the case about a Brazilian young man living in London, and his name was Jean-Charles de Menezes. Jean-Charles was minding his own business one day. He was dressed in a t-shirt and jeans, or light clothing. You could see he wasn't armed, but he had been confused because of the appalling carelessness of the police of being a terrorist, and the police chased him. They went gun happy, and they chased him into an underground train and emptied their pistols into his head in front of the horrified passengers. Now, they didn't need, they might have thought he was a terrorist, but it was obvious he was not armed. Starmer blocked the prosecution. He also stifled prosecution of members of a certain ethnicity when things started leaking out about grooming gangs in the north of England. And this is exactly what his publicists have accused the Conservatives of. And they've drawn attention to the Labour Party lapses in that regard with this campaign. Sunak wasn't even an MP when all of this blew up. No. So here we have the Trump prosecution, and here we have the Sunak, well, insinuations. I don't quite know. They're not really accusations. Well, I suppose they are, really. Rishi Sunak, yeah. Do you think adults convicted of should go to prison? Rishi Sunak doesn't. That's an accusation, isn't it? And we do have a lot of supporters of both the Democrats and the Labour Party feeling they can't go along with that. There are here. I'm not going into America so much, but let's see. Yeah, actors, comedians, and TV presenters, very strong supporters of the Labour Party in general. They condemn Labour Party's horrendous anti-Rishi Sunak advert. They've called for it to be taken down. There's also the Shadow Culture Secretary, Lucy Powell, refused to endorse the campaign. Can you think of any other reason than that they're trying to find ways of not having to take over the government on the next cycle? Why this is happening, you may ask? Well, that's a discussion for another time. because I can't think of anything right now, but, well, the comments section is always open. Till next time. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the granniopteryx design or Granbo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.granniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share, share, share.